Hey, I've been thinking there are a lot of creative people out there, and there is a lot of really cool and amazing fan films. Some at extremely high quality that would, I'd say, outshine some of the actual big Hollywood movies from the franchises. So I thought, let's make a video and talk about some of these amazing pieces of work. Now, I'm going to be talking about 10 horror fan films in this video. So, if your fan film does not appear in this video, or a fan film that you love doesn't appear in this film, don't worry, because I will be making a follow-up video with another 10 or more. I'm hoping to at least get to all of the horror fan films. So I will eventually cover all of them. So, look out for that. And yeah, this is just a video to celebrate people's amazing creativity. That's the whole purpose of this video. So, in saying that, let's kick this list off with number one. And this one caught me off guard. I did not expect, I don't know what to expect, to be fair. This is a fan film called Alien Lost Transmission. Now, it's a fan film, obviously based off the iconic Alien franchise. And it tells a simple story of two Marines basically trapped in a small room with no way out. Everything shut down. There's like 3 inches of steel wall, and they can't get out of it. And they're basically just sitting there. Now, two characters. One is a Marine called Colin. He's like the welder. He's there. He's trying to, find a way out. He's got like one last power cell, and he's trying to find a way to, use it to get out, to open the damn doors. But, no, it doesn't seem to be working. And then the other Marine is a lady who, unfortunately, at the beginning of this movie, lost her husband. His name is called Ryder. And her name is Naomi. So, I have to say, the whole purpose, I think, for this whole short episode, film, is what impresses me is, one, the cinematography. It's amazing how they built the whole setup to look like a space station. Two, the acting is amazing from both characters, especially the actress that played Naomi. I thought did a phenomenal job. Now, Colin is played by a talented actor called Ben Mayer. Naomi is played by a very talented actress called Gabriella Fuenti. Sorry if I butchered your name. Please forgive me. The husband that passed away in the beginning was played by Jake Demolili. Again, sorry for butchering names. And the whole thing was directed by a really, actually, very talented guy, Connor Botts. And yeah, they give one hell of a performance. And the whole point of this film is basically how the tension slowly builds throughout the whole movie. You have them sitting talking, and then tensions go up. They start hearing noises, banging. They start hearing growling, and they start trying to look for a way out, and it's not working. And then it kind of works. And I'm not going to spoil the ending. I'm not, but this build up absolutely pays off. the way the movie ends is like, whoa! But it's so good. It's brilliant. It's very, very well done. Very talented. And I mean, this is only It's 28 minutes long. So, you know, for what they've packed into just those 28 minutes is just phenomenal. They did a wonderful job. And if you want to watch this movie, and I highly recommend that you do, if I were to score it, I'd give it 8 out of 10. You know, if I were to have any gripes personally, I'd say that it was too short. I would have loved a bit more from it, but hey, for what we got, it's amazing. And if you want to watch it, I'm going to put the link in the description for each and every movie that I talk about on this list. The description in the description below will be the links to these movies. I recommend you watch them. And yeah, so that is Alien Lost Transmission. Fucking awesome. Now, on to number 2. And I should say before I get into number 2, I have reached out and asked, and I have spoke to all of the writers and all the directors from all 10 of these fan films, and I have asked permission from all of them if I can, include their movie in this video and show pictures and stills and, clips. And they have all thankfully, approved, and they were happy to let me do it. And so I want to give a big shout out to each and every one of them for giving their blessing. So I appreciate it, guys. It means a lot. This is what made this video possible, because I had to talk about your movie. Because why not? They need acknowledged. They're fucking amazing. Number 2, Dreamgirl, Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, this movie was directed by Bill Crossland, and it stars Cassie McGrun as Amy Shea, Jeremy, played by Zach Glossman, and of course, Freddy Krueger, played by Travis Anderson. Now, I didn't know what to expect whenever I walked into this. I was thinking, okay, Nightmare on Elm Street, fan film. Okay, let's check it out. And this only came out recently, actually, and I gotta say, they absolutely nailed it. First, I mean, I have to throw this out first. The actor that played Freddy Krueger, Travis Anderson, absolutely nailed his role of Freddy. He wasn't trying to be Robert Englund, or he wasn't trying to force it to replicate what he's like in the movies. No, instead, he actually just embodied the character of Freddy as a myth, and that's it. And he did a great job. He was terrifying. He had some witty one-liners. One I'll get into in a minute. It's actually my favorite line. It made me chuckle, but I was like, "Oh shit, he went there! Damn!" But it tells the story of a young girl, Casey, sorry, and she's in a hospital or a clinic, and you could tell she's mentally drained, because she hasn't slept, because Freddy, of course, and she is pregnant. And her reason being at the clinic is to basically have an abortion, because she doesn't want her child to come into this world when Freddy's around. So it's a hard-hitting, dialogue, and she's there doing that, and there's there's a funny scene where they're about to put her under sedation, standard procedure, and the nurse Jeremy, the guy standing beside her, is like, oh, because she's freaking out, like she's screaming and everything, like, no, you're not putting me to sleep. Jeremy butts in. He's like, I can hold your hand, and the way she stops, looks at him, and it's like, what? Fuck you, Jeremy! And continues screaming, and he's like, oh, okay. It's funny. That did get a chuckle out of me. But the second Freddy comes into the frame, it's just pure terror, and it's such fun to sit and just watch, and you're mesmerized because of the performance that Travis gives as Freddy. Like there's a line he says to another nurse, he pins her up against the wall, and he says, "Your body, my choice," and he proceeds to just slice her in half. I just thought, like, holy shit, what a line! But it fit. It's something Freddy would say, so it's perfect. So I thought it was really, really awesome, and they did a wonderful job. Seriously, they really did. Every actor involved in this did a wonderful job. They really did. The practical effects too, I thought was amazing. They did a phenomenal job. There's a lady, I think her name is Jade, who does a wonderful job with the practical effects. So fair dues to her. Great job. And yeah, as I said, link will be in the description for these movies. So I highly recommend you check it out. Very high quality, wonderful, and yeah, absolutely, I would recommend. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. And again, the quarrel being, it's just not long enough. And then, whenever I get into it, I'm like really enjoying the performance from everybody. And then it's over, I'm like, oh, but it's brilliant. And how it ends, it has a really awesome ending. I'm not going to spoil it. You have to go and watch it yourselves. But it's just classic Nightmare on Elm Street. So recommend it. So yeah, number 2, Dream Girl, Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 3, Silent Hill, A Letter to James. Now this was directed and produced by Stanislav Pazodrak. Drake. Sorry, I know I've butchered your name. I've put the name on the screen there for you. So I apologize for that. It stars Lucas Hogan playing as James, Mary, his wife, played by Emily Jade Goodwin, and Eddie, played by Ethan H. Bedwell. All great actors. And for those of you who are familiar with the Silent Hill video game franchise, will know that it's a horror game, and I've currently been playing it. I'm on my second run, as you can see, playing through it. Totally recommend it. That's the very first one, the original. And yeah, this game absolutely captures the creepiness, the mystery of Silent Hill, the music, the awesome narrative, and the acting is top notch. I couldn't fault it. Everybody played their roles wonderfully. Tells a story about a guy looking for his wife, James, and he receives a letter from his wife, Mary, and that's what brings him to Silent Hill, and there he bumps into various characters and creatures. Like he bumps into Eddie. That's the first guy he bumps into, and Eddie's all jumpy. He's got a gun and everything, and he was acted well. Everybody acted well, and he's just there because he's lost. He's not looking for anyone. He just simply got lost. So he's trying to find out where the fuck he is and how to get out. And you see all the classic and iconic creatures from Silent Hill universe, like the creepy creature with the street jacket, who was done so well, like practically. It's all practical. And of course, Pyramid Head. It's not Silent Hill without him. Had to have him. And he was played very well, very intimidating, as always, with a signature weapon that he drags on the ground, big sword. It's done very well. And there's another actress who James bumps into upstairs. And please forgive me, I don't remember her name, but she was awesome in this. She was she was lost, but she was flirty, and then she eventually sees how traumatized James is about his wife. So she sort of just gives him a letter and lets him go on his own. but everyone plays the part well. My only gripe is it's a 20-minute video, the movie, but the actual movie itself is 15 minutes long, or at least around that. And I felt it was too short, given how complex the story was. I'm not sure if it was rushed or but it sort of ends leaving a few more questions, you know, than there are answered. But maybe I'm hoping that means there may be a sequel, because if a sequel comes out, it could just answer every question that we have and wrap it up nicely. And I hope it will be longer. But that's what I would hope. I think it would be cool, But apart from it being a little too short and stuff, like I said, the cinematography is great, the music's great, the narrative's great, acting is wonderful, the props or practical effects, everything is amazing. And I do recommend that if you watch it, which I do recommend it, links in the description, so no excuse. But wait till the end, right? Wait until the very end, because there's a secret little ending scene. And if you're big into the video games, you're going to get nostalgic, put it that way. It's a nice little love letter to us, the fans. Also, what I've noticed about it, it does give an Alan Wake vibe as well. Like the character of James, like he looks a bit like him. The vibe, the story, there's references too, which is fun to watch because you can look after them and say, "Hey, I get that one." So another reason to watch it. It's just a really fun movie, really is, and I would give it probably 7 out of 10. Again, a little too short, left too many questions, but I'm hoping these guys make a sequel. I would love to see it. And if you do, please make it longer. That's all I ask. Otherwise, phenomenal job to everybody involved. Good, wonderful. Recommended. So, yeah, Silent Hill, A Letter to James. Number 4, The Forgotten Friday, Friday the 13th. Directed by Ricker Giangini. I know I've probably butchered your surname, sir, so I apologize. I'm terrible with pronunciations, if you've not noticed so far in this video. So, I really enjoyed this one. I didn't know what to expect again. And it was a surprise. It was really cool. This movie is 40 minutes long. So, starts off with a guy running in the woods, clearly in distress, being chased and stalked, and clearly Jason chasing after him. And the look of Jason in this is pretty cool. He's quite similar to the 2009 remake. Like, he has the coat, the jacket, and but played very well, very intimidating. And there's an awesome scene when the guy in the beginning finds like a hut or a cabin, and he goes in to probably just to hide away from Jason, and he comes across a shrine, and it's got the head of Pamela Voorhees. Now, what I loved about this was how great this whole thing looked. Quality, it looked amazing. Close-up shots of the head looked really awesome, very well detailed. So really, really awesome. And he looks at, he sees her head and he goes closer to it and he gets that close. And it leaves a gap in between the character and the head. And in the middle is the door. And the door is lit up red, big red light. And it leaves this scene for like 5 seconds of him just staring at this head. And then Jason just pops up at the door. And it's like very well done. It was well angled, very, very intimidating. So the music kicks in. The music is awesome. It's just basically Friday the 13th music, just kind of remixed a little bit, but it's still there. That's awesome. Very nostalgic. So the guy gets slayed, of course he does. And then you get to another guy that comes to the woods. He's a photographer and he goes in to explore and look around, and he gets stalked. And there's a shot, one of my favorite shots in this film was he's looking out at the lake and you see all these bubbles and he's like, what the hell? And then suddenly Jason just comes up from the water. And I thought that scene was so cool because I can imagine how tricky that would have been, or how uncomfortable that may have been with all the prosthetics and stuff on, as Jason. So, credit for that, man. So the guy gets his camera to take a picture and he looks up and Jason's gone. So really cool suspenseful scene. But I think that was my favorite scene in this film. There's a lot of the cinematography in general is great. Like they have obviously the drone that goes up while the guy's walking and it just goes on and makes this guy feel so tiny, and it shows the woods just being so big. Like this is Jason's playground, fucking huge, and he could be anywhere. So it's really terrifying. And there's other shots I loved. Like I'm a sucker for flowers. I love flowers. If you watch some of my videos, you see at the beginning, I sometimes have colorful flowers, and so I'm a sucker for flowers. I think they're awesome, they're beautiful, they're amazing to shoot with. So you have scenes like that in this, where I was just like, oh, this is amazing. The guy's standing looking, and there's like flowers everywhere. You even see a bumblebee and everything. Just it's so cool, and it stays in that frame for like 10 seconds, and it's just wonderful. I love it. Just nature in general, very well shot, beautiful, and yeah, the whole what I loved about it was it took like things from not only the movies but from the Friday the 13th video game, and like you have the voice notes from Pamela Voorhees whenever the other guy gets there and finds the head, and this is a different guy finds the head, and suddenly he hears Pamela's voice talking to him, lowering the guy back, and just at least until Jason gets there. So very cool. But the voice notes were from the game, but very well done, very well implemented, well thought out too. And then you get so many things. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it does pay a really awesome montage, really awesome little tribute to the earlier Friday the 13th movies, which I thought was awesome. So watch to the end, you get a treat. It's really amazing. Done a great job. Everybody done great in this, acting wise. There's some comedy in it. Some of it, works. Some of it doesn't really work. Like the one that does work, where the guy is talking to like the boss on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, have you been talking to Michael lately? I haven't heard from him." I said, "Oh, I sent him in the woods this morning." What? Right, those woods, you heard the stories. He said, yeah, well, he had to prove himself. He's like, all you ever care about is is ratings. And the guy said, no, 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 I don't care about the ratings. I only care about the money. And he lifts his big ass cigar. It's the way he said it. Like, I just don't give a fuck. But that was comedy. I thought that did hit the mark, and that was good. It was awesome, and it got a chuckle out of me. Then there's comedy. There's lines where it's like it feels so out of place, but then again, it just feels like cheesy '80s slasher comedy lines. Like there's a couple in a tent, and he goes out to have a piss or whatever. He's drunk. He goes out and he's standing there and he's pissing, and Jason suddenly appears and chops his chops his manhood off. And the way the guy is so overacting and over dramatic and not very convincing, but I think that is intentional, just for the comedy. It's like, oh my god, oh my cock, oh my god, it's so like in reality you'd just be screaming. That's it, screaming, and then you pass out. You know, And then girls are screaming, and she forgets that he was ever there, and she's just screaming for herself, and then she gets, you know, destroyed and slayed. But overall, it's a fun movie. I've watched it twice now, actually, and it's really fun, and absolutely would recommend you watch it. Link again in the description. Check it out. It's 40 minutes long, and it's got an awesome ending that is perfect. Nice little tribute to the franchise. So yeah, number 4, A Forgotten Friday, Friday the 13th. Number 5, Charles. Now this came out in 2022, and it's an hour long, and it stars Shannon Ray Morris as Charles Lee Ray and the voice of Chucky. Phenomenal job, by the way, but we'll get into that later. And Rosaline Fontelia plays Tiffany Valentine, also does a great job. It's produced by Mike Chinbanti and Michael Lawrence. Michael Lawrence is also the prop master for Chucky, does an awesome job also. Directed by Mitch Francis, Tony Biz, and Albert Genoa, and Zach Francis. Now, this is basically a reimagining of the original Child's Play. So this is a fresh take on everything. How Charles became the doll, how everything. It starts off with Tiffany and the guru guy. Do you remember the guru guy who's all into voodoo and shit? So he's there and he's tied up, clearly beaten to shit. And Tiffany's trying to get answers out of him as to how to help Chucky. Because apparently in this retelling, Charles Lee Ray is already dying. Now they don't really say, maybe they did say how or why he was dying, but it just states that he's dying and he needs help. And the voodoo guy is just fair play to him. He's having none of it. He's like, "You're all evil, man. I'm not fucking helping you. Let him die. I hope it's painful." and then of course you have other returning characters from the original, like you have Eddie Caputo, who's in here, and then everyone plays their role amazingly. Like they all look great. Tiffany doesn't sound like Tiffany, but you know what? I'm not even annoyed by it. It doesn't bother me because Jennifer Tilly has such a distinct voice. It would be a little difficult to replicate. So it doesn't bother me. She still played the part awesomely. She did a great job. She looks the part, character wise. So yeah. So this scene is already interesting. And then the second Charles Lee Ray walks into the room and that music just hits, you just get chills immediately. You're like, holy shit. Not only does the actor look exactly like Charles Lee Ray in human form, but sounds so similar to Chucky. It's actually insane. Like, there were times I genuinely forgot this was a fan film because of how amazing they did with the voice as Chucky in this. I was genuinely stunned. Absolutely amazing. And like, I'll actually play a clip for you now, just so you can hear what Chucky sounds like. You can see yourself. Here it is.
Make sure that door's locked.
Nothing personal, Eddie. We love you.
Come sit down next to me, my friend. I'll explain the whole thing to you. Sit the fuck down, Eddie.
After all the shit we've been through, what are you doing?
You gonna do me like this? I need your body. Fuck you!
See what I mean? Sounds amazing. So they do the whole retelling of how Charles Lee Ray gets himself into a doll, and it is quite similar to the original. He's being chased by a detective, and he's dying and wounded. So it's similar to that, you know. And then whenever he becomes the doll, this is where I was really fascinated. I was like, how are they gonna do this? How are they gonna work it? Like the doll wise, what way? How's this gonna look? And I gotta say, it looked really well. It looked really good. I was actually genuinely shocked by how good they did. Like, the puppeting. Like I said, it was Michael Lawrence, who was the puppet master, and he did a phenomenal job when it came to the doll movements, and Chucky looked amazing in doll form too. Like there were scenes where you saw his face and his eyes were just like bloodshot and everything, and it genuinely looked terrifying. This is probably one of the most terrifying, like Chucky's. Like this is him back to just being terrifying, no longer being the goofy, stupid comedy gimmick that they turned him into, and later on in the franchise, this is back to basics, back to being scary. That's the Chucky I personally loved. He does have some one-liners, of course. He's not Chucky without one-liners, but I'll not spoil anything. But it's, in my eyes, a perfect retelling. And if, God forbid, anything ever happens to Brad Dourif, who I love wholeheartedly, and I hope he never goes anywhere. I hope he lives forever, god damn it. But if it comes a time when he either retires or, worse, the actor that was in this, I think, would be an awesome person to continue Chucky's legacy. But yeah, absolutely, I would recommend it. This 8 out of 10. It has to be. The effort that was put into this, the acting, the voice acting, the puppeteering, the practical effects in general, and the music was great. The score is absolutely awesome. I recommend it. Comments, yeah. If you watch it, comment what you think of it. And yeah, links in the description. Honestly, check it out. It is awesome. I only gripe, see, I have to have a gripe everywhere, don't I? I'm not going to spoil it, but the ending kind of doesn't really make sense, at least to me personally. It left a question like, how? Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but and hey, maybe I missed something. Maybe you guys will watch it and you'll say, "Oh, I'll tell you why this happened. It's because of that, because of this or that." You just missed it. Fine, not the first time I've missed something. I do have slow moments, so yeah, maybe that's the case. But yeah, totally recommend it. Absolutely watch it. It's amazing. Great job, guys. Yeah, number 5, Charles. Number 6, Never Hike Alone. Friday the 13th. Now this one doesn't need an introduction. This was one of the biggest fan films at the time whenever it came out. I remember whenever this first came out, everybody going crazy about it. Like, dude, you have to see this. And unfortunately, I waited until now to watch it. Not for any reason, I just didn't get around to it. I kept forgetting about it. But yeah, so this came out on a time whenever fans were deprived of Friday the 13th content. Because they had the lawsuit going on, so there was no new movies coming out. Even the game itself halted new content. And So this was one of those things where the fans said, fuck it. If you're not going to give us a Friday the 13th movie, we'll make our own. And that's exactly what they did. And and it was awesome what they came out with. Like, like this came out at a time where I think we all needed this. Yeah, like I said, we were deprived for so long, and like it was 2009 was the last time we had a Friday movie. This came out in 2017, so you know what I mean. So it tells the story of a guy called Kyle who is a vlogger who's just hiking through the woods. He has a goal to get to this particular point on the map in such a certain time, and it's pretty simple. It's just the cinematography is pretty good, acting is awesome, the score is pretty good, and yeah, the Jason in this movie, he's played really well. He's once again inspired by the 2009, like design wise. He has the coat and stuff, but does a great job. Very menacing. The guy who plays him is absolutely menacing, and it's the person who plays Jason is Vincent DeSanti. Now, that's also the director of this movie, and he plays Jason. A lot of the directors love to play Jason, don't they? Oh god! But yeah, this movie stars Andrew Lighty, sorry, Katie Schwartz, and Robert Dubus. All wonderful, wonderful actors. They all do a great job in this. And so, what I love about it is whenever the guy finally is confronted with Jason, he's vlogging himself. He's telling the story of this is Camp Crystal Lake. There's a story about Jason Voorhees drowned when he was a kid, and his mother was the cook, Pamela, and she went on a killing spree, and then she got decapitated. I love that there was research put into this. Like you can tell the people who made this were true fans. I mean, just like all these movies, you can tell they're all fans because of how much heart is put into it. But like simple little things like Pamela Voorhees being the cook, simple little things that they paid attention to. I really loved. It actually made me smile. It's like, hey, that's right, yeah. And so he finds the head, of course. It's inevitable. And then that's when Jason comes. And instead of running, what I did like about this character is instead of running, he fought. He fought back, started punching and everything. And and then whenever Jason pushes him, like whacks him, he does this thing where it's like he does like the guy rolls backwards, gets up and runs away. It looked a little goofy, but but it was still awesome. It doesn't bring this down anywhere in any way at all. Like, but it's very well done. You can tell they put a lot of work into this, and of course, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but absolutely give it a watch. I mean, I'm sure everybody's talked about this movie by now. It's been out for years, so it's nothing you probably haven't already known. But check it out. Link it in the description. And yeah, it's really well done. This is something the fans wanted. And if I recall, there is a second Never Hike Alone, maybe even the third. I haven't seen 2 or 3 yet. I've only seen this one. But yeah, maybe I'll check them out and feature them in the next fan film video. So yeah, totally check it out. And yeah, number 6, Never Hike Alone, Friday the 13th. Number 7, the 78 Slasher. Number 7, the 78 Slasher. Now this movie is directed by Mark Murtha, who also plays Michael. See, there's a trend. And he also produced it alongside Owen Simcox. And yeah, so this basically starts. Basically, it's a movie that it's also like a reimagining in a way. Like you have characters like main characters like the Ben Tramer, who we all know from the original and second 1981 Halloween, and it's basically just kids going out on Halloween, and it starts off with Michael basically breaking out, like pretty much shows like the inside depth of how he breaks out, rather than just Sam Loomis drives up and they're all already outside. So it's cool that we get to see inside how he got out. So I like that we get to see that. And yeah, so he eventually breaks out and he looks great. Like this version of Michael, the mask looks great. It's very similar to the original, which I loved. I thought it was pretty awesome. And he moves great. He does a lot of very Nick Castle in him, and he's just going around slaying bitches. There's no other way to put it. But everybody is really well acted. Everyone works their ass off in this, and you can tell a lot of heart once again was going into it because everyone's just having fun. You can tell everyone's having a blast, everyone's laughing, and they're in costumes, and there's a big party scene and a really creepy scene where, because everyone's dressed up as monsters and shit, it's Halloween, of course. You see Michael in the party as well, and he's just standing like in the dark side, and there's like a blue light shading on him, and he's just standing there, just watching all these people like partying, and they haven't got a single idea that that's Michael, just standing there ready to cause some shit. So I thought that was really cool. It was actually quite clever, I thought. Very well done. And you have so Ben Tramer, who is played by Lewis B. Houff, and a character called Nancy, played by Alexis. I'm gonna butcher the shit out of this name. Please forgive me. I'm not even gonna try. I'm just gonna put it on the screen. I don't want to butcher your name. So my apologies, Alexis. Zoli Horvath. I think I got that. Horvath. Yes. So many. There's even Dr. Loomis is in this, and he's played by Joseph Sutton. He does a great job. I only wish we could see a bit more of Loomis in this, but he does a great job with what he has. He's whenever he's on, you're like, shit, yeah, here we go. Shit's going on. Loomis is here. So it's really awesome. They do a really cool job. And you have little references, like you have masks. Like there's the mask from Halloween Ends. I know. Put the pitchforks down for a minute. Will you just hear me out? The the mask from Halloween Ends that Corey wears, the clown mask. And I'm pretty sure I saw the masks from Halloween 3. The witch, the skull, and well, you know which ones. And yeah. So the kills are really cool in this. The practical effects are decent. Like I said, Michael's awesome. And this story didn't end how I thought it was going to end. Again, I'm not going to spoil it. You have to check it out for yourself. But yeah, I mean, it's just when you think it's over, something else happens. And then when you think, okay, now it's over, something else happens. And it's like a domino effect, and it just doesn't stop until it stops. But it's cool. You have scenes where finally all the kids in the party realize that's Michael Myers. Fuck, what are we gonna do? We gotta fight. then we have people saying we should run away, and all of them say we should call the cops, and so it's cool seeing that predicament and seeing like all these different like opinions and what are they going to go with, and it's really well done, and the lighting's great, the cinematography's great, music's cool. Like I said, acting was top notch. Everybody involved in this movie did a great job, so well done, guys. Props to you. And yeah, so this is, if I recall, 32 minutes long, so it's a decent length, so that's fun. And yeah, so absolutely would recommend this. And I love the title screen too. I always love when they do that. Even in fan films, they have the iconic opening of Halloween where you have the pumpkin and the music, the iconic Halloween theme, and you get the text up of who's in the movie. I love that. That was awesome. It was a wonderful touch. So good job with that as well, guys. So yeah, check it out. 1978 slasher. Number 8, Halloween Season of the Boogeyman. Now this is a film made by a very talented young man, Cameron Keane. And what I love about this is an hour and 3 minutes long, if I remember. So lots of content packed into this, but it's really very well done. Even the beginning, I love how it starts, like the opening of this movie. It gives Halloween 4 vibes, in terms of the opening. It even has, I'm pretty sure, the same type of music. But it's pretty cool, and the shot that it opens up with is a over the head drone shot, and just all these colorful flowers. And I don't mean there's me bit good on about flowers again. Wow, but it's seriously beautiful. And then the next scene you get is the back of Michael standing by a lake, holding his mask. It's like I said, it's only the back of him, but it's such a beautiful, well done shot that it's really cool. But there's so many things in this movie that genuinely takes inspiration from not just Halloween 4 or the original, but pretty much all of them. Like, there's another scene where, like, later on in the movie, when there's a girl hiding under the table, and the camera pans up and you see Michael standing on the table, referencing Halloween H2O. But it's honestly well done. And what I really loved about this was the idea in terms of characters. There's a character in this, I think, called Hunter, if I remember. And he's actually the grandson of Dr. Loomis, Sam Loomis, which I thought was really cool. And he's working with the detective and the policeman to hunt Michael down and stuff. So I thought that was a really cool idea and a really cool concept that I never even thought of or heard of before. I thought it was really cool. So I really did like that. I thought it was nifty. And there's loads of characters in this. Like I said, it's over an hour long, so there's so many very talented actors in this. And everyone plays the part well. The cinematography is amazing. The music is awesome. You get like a mix of like from the scores of Halloween 2018, like I said, from Halloween 4 in the opening to the original. So it's really cool that we get all these like different incarnations of certain music and scores from the franchise. And the kills are good. And the guy who played Michael, who was played by Brandon Phillips. Yeah, Brandon Phillips. He did a great job. So fair play to you, Brandon. Good shape. But if I were to gripe, even if it's just like a nitpick, the only thing that kind of took me out of it a few times was the look of Michael. That's probably the only thing that sort of, everything else was amazing. The cinematography is great, music's great, acting's great. It's a well written movie. Like I said, the concepts, the idea, Dr. Loomis's grandson. What? Who would have thought of that? Really cool ideas on paper, and it's very well done. And I don't want to spoil too much because I want you to enjoy it for yourselves. But it's just sometimes it's just the look of Mike and the right lighting. Michael does look great, but then on on other lightings, not so good. But should that ruin the movie? No, absolutely not, because there's so much going for this movie. Great ideas, great acting, great scenes. Like there's a scene where the little girl's looking outside, just outside where the patio is, and she just sees Michael standing there, and she freaks out. And she's like getting the babysitter, look, and he's not there. So really cool shots. It's classic Halloween, you know. Gripes, even griping, like, yeah, oh, you saw a weird man out there? Let me open the door. Step out. Okay, no one there. See, coming in, doesn't lock the door. I'm like, lock the door, dude. She just told you he's a weird man out there. But again, gripes. You're gonna get that with every horror movie you ever watch. You're gonna get. Why aren't you running? Or why aren't you doing this? But that's what's amazing about it. That's the enjoyment. That's we all get a different experience from these movies and movies. I mean, movies in general, and that's wonderful. That's great. But yeah, it's an awesome movie. Very well done. Cameron Keane, very talented young man. He came up with this, and to make it an hour and 3 minutes long. I mean, I can only imagine how much you had to pack into this to get that type of length. Or that duration. So well done to everybody involved. Absolutely recommend it. And yeah, like I said, you already know. Link is in the description. Please check it out. And yeah, it's kick ass movie. If I were to score it, it would be by 7 out of 10. And what holds back from an 8 again is the look of Michael. But who knows? Maybe they're on a tight budget, or maybe they were on the clock and didn't have enough time. But they worked with what they got, and they did a great job. And they came out with something magnificent. So, great job, guys. So yeah, number 8, Halloween, the season of the Boogeyman. Number 9, the cabin he calls home. Friday the 13th. Now this was a really fun one to watch. It is around 22 minutes long, and it's a simple story of just 3 friends, 3 fellas, just hanging out in the woods, just getting drunk, talking shit, as you do, and just, of course, one dares the other one to go into cabin that he calls home on their own. So they dare, they do it. One runs off and he finds the cabin. Of course, he doesn't come back. He's too busy being dead, so the other 2 friends get worried and they go looking for him, and I love that the version of Jason in this movie is Sackhead Jason, from part 2, which I loved. I always thought in like the second movie, like part 2, he's a bit too goofy, because he's falling over himself and tripping over stools and shit. But in this particular movie, he was actually genuinely more intimidating, which I thought was great. It actually made me want to poop myself if he's running towards me rather than just stand there pointing, laughing. Because they done a great job with like making him intimidating and so cool. I loved it. He was actually played very well. And of course, wouldn't be a Friday the 13th movie without getting some head. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Oh, what I mean by that is finding the head of Pamela Voorhees. What do you think I meant? So, of course, they find the head, and where there's a severed head, Jason's never far behind. So, of course, so I'll not spoil it. I'll not, you can watch to see if all three of them make it out alive at the end, or maybe two. Who knows? But give it a watch. I totally recommend it. It's such a fun one. The acting was actually pretty good. Like these three fellas, they had really good chemistry. You could tell they were comfortable around each other and they had chemistry in real life, and it shows through the camera. So he did a great job. The guy who played Jason did a phenomenal job. Really, he's big and menacing. Pretty awesome shit. Now I'm not 100% who played Jason, but and I did check. Maybe I checked wrong. Maybe I didn't look in the right place. But if you know who plays him, let me know in the comments. But the three fellas played by that play Ricky, Layla, and Wes are Alexander Menny, Tyler Haber, and Sean Haber. Three very talented young men. Done a great job. And yeah, hopefully I see them in more future projects. Yeah. Number 9. The cabin that he calls home. Scream, a fan favorite, directed by Taylor Hanson, who also produced and wrote this movie. Now, I got really excited when I thought about a Scream fan film. I thought this is going to be interesting, actually. So many ideas you could come up with. And it totally delivered. They done a really cool job with this. The concept of Ghostface no longer following the rules of normal horror movies or trilogies. Instead, he's now following the rules of fan film. That was really clever. I thought it was a really smart, on the nose kind of way of doing it. And you get some good ass lines in this from Ghostface. Of course you do. Like calling up the the guy in the beginning and he's talking about his death scene and said, I've already filmed it. He said, well, I can help you. You film your death scene if you want. I can help. I can help you with that. I can help you out with the location if you'd like to go now. Just proper shady as fuck. He's like, I've already filmed it. I said, well, consider it a rewrite. you know. So really clever, on the nose dialogue. You get a scene where he attacks an actress who's, sick of everything at this point. This is why I don't work with amateurs, she says. And she gets attacked. And just as he was about to kill her, she's like, wait! He's like, oh. I'm final girl material. It's like, you wish. Finishes her off. Really fucking awesome dialogue. Very clever. And well acted. Everybody acted their asses off in this. And I mean, it's Scream. You're sitting there thinking, who's going to be the killer? And obviously, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there's so many twists and turns. Just when you think you've got it, and just when something gets revealed, you're like, oh shit. And then there's more to it, and So again, I'm not going to spoil it, but they did a really good job with this. Like a really, really good ass job. And this is the only Scream fan film I've seen so far. So I can't compare it to anything else. But I mean, this being my first, I really enjoyed it. It had the quality, it had good cinematography. Ghostface looked great. The actors were good. The kills were basic. It's Scream. It's usually just stab. So but the tension's still there. It's all there. The phone calls are all there. Everything in the Scream movie, all put in this, and the whole idea of him following fan films rules, I thought was very smart and very metaphorically, and you know, fourth wall kind of, because this is a fan film, but it works. It works, and the only gripe I have is the ending. I was like, I kind of felt a little. What's the word? I was sitting there whenever the credits came up. I was sitting there with blue balls. I was like, wait, what? No, wait. So I'm hoping that they're going to make a sequel from this, because I mean, it's the only thing that would make sense considering how it ends. But apart from that, it's great. The characters they're cool. Like, there's some goofy things, like they're all adults and they're meeting out for a drink and they all decide to go play hide and seek. The goofy ass things that's like, would you really do that? Like, like grown ass adults. But hey, maybe. Fuck it. I mean, play whatever you want. Just don't play dead. Anyway, would I recommend it? Yes, absolutely. I would give it. I give it 8 out of 10. Lots of effort, good dialogue, well written. Most importantly, well written. And yeah, so that is it. 10 fan films reviewed and recommended. I recommended them all. Upon gripes and stuff, but everything has flaws, everything has wins. And all of these movies have very little flaws. And the people who created them, well done. They've done an amazing job. Everybody involved, whether it be the sound guys, the costume designers, everybody involved in these movies should be proud of themselves because they've done a wonderful job. And it's so simple. It just goes to show anybody can make a fan film. Anybody. Even you. So why not? Give it a go. Come up with something. Write down an idea and run with it. Because don't try, you won't know. And if you do make a fan film, let me know. And I'll feature it in my next video. Ding! But anyway, all the links will be in the description. Please check these movies out. Tell them I sent you. And enjoy them. Because they've inspired me to keep doing what I do as well. Keep filming and going to beaches and forests and stuff like I do. It's an inspiration to see people going out and doing what they want, what they're passionate about. Follow your dream, follow your passion. Don't give up. If it feels right, it is right. So, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you watching. And yeah, like I said, there will be a follow-up video with other fan films. So if your favorite isn't on this list, it might be next time. Maybe comment below. What would you like to see in the follow-up video? Let me know, and I'll add it to the list. So thanks for watching, guys. And as always, don't kill anyone.